The morning light of the twin suns filtered through the window of their small home Lisa and Zara had built together at the edge of the settlement. Their house stood apart from the others, part by choice, and part by the silent agreement of the other, humans who still found their union strange. Lisa woke first, watching as the light played across Zara's silver skin, making it shimmer like the surface of a calm lake. It had been 3 months since their soul song ceremony. 3 months of building, a life together of learning each other's habits and customs, of navigating the complex social structures of both their peoples. Lisa worked in the research facility studying the plant life of Nexus 7, while Zara served as a guide and translator for the scientific teams that ventured into the more remote regions of the planet. Today was different. Today they would travel to the great city of Calthor, the spiritual center of Nexian culture, where Zara had been born and where her family still lived. Family that had largely rejected her when her fourth arms had begun to grow during adolescence. A rare genetic trait that marked her as different. Lisa was nervous. She had only met Nexians who lived near the human settlement. Nexians who had chosen to interact with humans and who had adopted some human customs. The Nexians of Calthor were traditionalists, proud of their ancient ways and suspicious of the human settlers. Zara, "Are you sure they want to meet me?" Lisa asked as she packed their travel. Zara looked up, her 3 amber eyes blinking in sequence. "Want is perhaps too strong a word. My mother has requested your presence. That is significant in itself. She has acknowledged our soul song, which is more than I expected." Lisa nodded, understanding the weight of what Zara was saying. In Nexian culture, to acknowledge a soul song was to accept it as legitimate, regardless of personal feelings. The fact that Zara's mother had sent a formal request for them to visit was a gesture of acceptance, even if it wasn't quite welcome. They left their home as the second sun crested the horizon. The path to Calthor would take them through the purple forests, across the golden plains, and into the red mountain range where the ancient Nexian city had stood, for thousands of years longer than any human civilization. As they walked, Zara used all 4 of her arms with effortless coordination. 2 carried their bags, 1 held a navigation device, and the 4th reached for Lisa's hand. Her silver skin caught the sunlight, making her appear to glow against the purple vegetation. The forest was alive with sounds. Strange birds with 6 wings called out to each other, while small, furry creatures with too many eyes scurried along the branches overhead. Lisa had been on Nexus 7 for 3 years, but she still found its ecosystem fascinating. A biologist dreamed by midday, they had reached the golden plains, tall grasses that rustled in the warm breeze. In the distance, herds of grazing animals moved like clouds across the landscape. "This is where I came when I first left home," Zara said, gesturing to the plains with one of her free arms. "The plains people are nomads. They care little for physical differences. They judge others by their skills, their contributions to the group. They were kind to me when few others were." Lisa squeezed Zara's hand. "I wish I could have known you." Then Zara made a soft humming sound that Lisa had learned was the Nexian equivalent of a wistful smile. "Perhaps it is better that you didn't. I was angry then, bitter. I had not yet found my purpose." As the twin suns began their descent, they reached the foothills of the Red Mountains. In the fading light, the rock formations glowed like embers. They made camp in a small cave, one that Zara knew from her previous journeys. Inside the cave, bioluminescent fungi cast a soft blue glow over the stone walls. They ate a simple meal of Nexian fruits and dried protein rations from the human settlement. The combination of alien and human food had become normal for them both, their tastes adapting to each other's. "Cuisines, Lisa, what troubles you?" Zara asked as they finished their meal. Her 3 eyes focused intently on Lisa's face. Lisa sighed. "You know me too well. I'm worried about tomorrow. About meeting your family. I'm afraid they'll hate me. Not just because I'm human, but because I took you further from them." Zara moved closer, wrapping 2 of her arms around Lisa's shoulders. "They made their choices long ago. When they decided, my difference made me lesser. They set us on separate paths. It was not you who took me from them, but they're reaching out now." Lisa said. "That's something, isn't it?" Zara was quiet for a moment, her 3 eyes blinking in the pattern that indicated deep thought. "Yes. It is something my mother would not have sent for us without purpose. She is not one for empty gestures. But Lisa, you should prepare yourself. Nexian families, especially traditional ones, do not express affection as humans do. There will be no warm embraces, no tears of reconciliation. Lisa nodded. I understand. I just want them to see you as I see you, as someone wonderful and unique, not as someone damaged or incomplete. That night, as they slept in each other's arms, Lisa dreamed of Earth, of the green forests and blue oceans she had left behind. She dreamed of her own family who had been confused by her decision to join the Nexus 7 expedition, but had supported her nonetheless. In her dream, they met Zara and welcomed her with open arms, accepting her silver skin and forearms without question. She woke to find Zara already up and preparing for the final leg of their journey. The morning air in the mountains was crisp and cold, making Lisa pull her jacket tighter around her shoulders. We should reach Kalthor by midday, Zara said. If we keep a steady pace, the path through the mountains was steep and winding. At times it seemed to disappear altogether, but Zara moved with confidence, following markers that were invisible to Lisa's eyes. The higher they climbed, the thinner the air became, making Lisa grateful for the adaptation treatments all humans received before settling on Nexus 7. Then suddenly, as they rounded a particularly steep section of the path, Kalthor came into view, and Lisa gasped. The Nexian city was built directly into the red stone of the mountain. Its buildings and towers formed from the living rock, carved with such precision that they seemed to grow naturally from the mountainside. Great arches and spiraling structures caught the light of the twin suns, reflecting it in dazzling patterns. It is something, isn't it? Zara said, pride evident in her voice. Despite everything, this is still where I come from. The place that shaped me. Lisa could only nod, speechless at the sight. She had seen images of Kalthor in the settlement database, but none had captured its true majesty. As they approached the city gates, Lisa noticed other Nexians watching them, some with open curiosity, others with thinly veiled hostility. All Nexians had blue skin of varying shades and 2 arms. Zara, with her silver skin and 4 arms, stood out dramatically. Even among her own people, she was unmistakably different. The city guards, tall Nexians with elaborate markings etched into their blue skin, stopped them at the gates. One spoke rapidly in the Nexian language, the sounds musical but sharp. Zara responded, her voice taking on a formal quality Lisa had rarely heard. The guard looked at Lisa, his 3 eyes narrowing, then back at Zara. After a moment, he stepped aside, allowing them to pass. What did he say? Lisa whispered as they entered the city. He asked my lineage and purpose. Zara replied, I told him, I am Zara, daughter of Alara of the House of Miral, here at my mother's request with my soul song partner. He was not pleased, but he cannot deny a formal house invitation. The streets of Kalthor were narrow and winding, filled with Nexians going about their daily lives. Markets displayed goods Lisa had never seen before, fabrics that seemed to shift color as they moved, foods with impossible geometries, small devices whose purpose she could not begin to guess. The Nexians stopped and stared as they passed. Some whispered behind their hands, others moved aside, as if afraid to touch them. Lisa felt a new appreciation for what Zara must have experienced living among humans, being constantly marked as other. They climbed higher into the city until they reached a section where the buildings were larger, more elaborate, carved with intricate patterns that told stories Lisa could not read. Zara stopped before one such building, taking a deep breath. This is my mother's house, Zara said. Her voice was steady, but Lisa could see the tension in her posture. All 4 arms held slightly too rigid. Are you ready? Lisa took Zara's hand, the one closest to her, squeezing it gently. Yes. I'm ready. Zara pressed her palm to a panel beside the massive stone door. After a moment, the door slid open silently, revealing a dim interior. Lisa blinked, allowing her eyes to adjust to the change in light. As she did, a tall Nexian woman stepped forward. Her blue skin was dark, almost midnight in color, adorned with silver markings that highlighted her high cheekbones and the curve of her 3 eyes. Mother Zara said, her voice soft. I've returned as requested. This is Lisa Morgan, my soul song partner. The Nexian woman Alara studied Lisa with an intensity that made her want to step back. Instead, Lisa stood straighter, meeting. That three-eyed gaze you have brought the human. Alara said, her voice was like Zara's but deeper, more resonant. Good. There is much to discuss. Come without waiting for a response. Alara turned and walked deeper into the house. Zara and Lisa exchanged a glance before following her inside, stepping from the bright mountain sunlight into the cool shadows of a home where neither of them was truly welcome. The interior of Alara's home was cool and dim, lit by the same bioluminescent fungi that had illuminated their cave the night before. But here they were, cultivated in artistic patterns, creating constellations of blue light across the high ceilings. The walls were the same red stone as the mountain, but polished to a high shine, reflecting the soft glow. Alara led them into a circular room where cushions were arranged around a low stone table. 3 other Nexians waited there. All had the same midnight blue skin as Alara, though their facial markings were different, less elaborate. They all stared at Lisa with undisguised curiosity. Zara introduced them. These are my siblings, Torin, Mila, and Kren. None of them offered any greeting. They simply continued to stare at Lisa as if she were a specimen in a laboratory. Lisa fought the urge to fidget under their triple gazes. Sit, Alara commanded, gesturing to the cushions. Lisa and Zara sat side by side, their hands finding each other automatically, a small gesture of comfort that did not go unnoticed by the watching Nexians. You have completed the soul song, Alara stated, looking at their joined hands. Her tone gave away nothing of what she felt about this fact. Yes, Mother, Zara replied. We have one. Of Zara's siblings, Mila spoke, her voice higher than Alara's with a musical quality. Why would you bind yourself to a human, when there are many among the plains people who would accept you? Lisa felt Zara's hand tighten around hers. I did not choose. Lisa, because she would accept me. Zara said, I chose her because she sees me as I am. Not as someone to be accepted or tolerated, but as someone to be cherished. The uncomfortable silence fell over the room. Lisa could feel the weight of judgment from Zara's family. She wished she could understand more of the subtle expressions on their alien faces, the meaning behind the different patterns of blinking their 3 eyes made. Finally, Alara spoke again. You wonder why I have called you here after so long. She did not wait for Zara to confirm this before continuing. The elders have had a vision. The other Nexians in the room shifted their posture, straightening, as if this statement carried great significance. Lisa looked at Zara questioningly. Elders are the spiritual leaders of our people, Zara explained quietly. Their visions are rare and taken very seriously. What was this vision? Zara asked, turning back to her mother. Alara rose and moved to a recessed alcove in the wall. She returned, with a small object cradled in her hands. It was a crystal perhaps the size of Lisa's palm, clear as water, but with something moving inside it, something that seemed to shift and change as Alara placed it on the table between them. The elders saw a time of great change coming, Alara said, her 3 eyes fixed on the crystal. The humans bring technologies and ideas that will transform our world forever. Some welcome this change, others fear it. The vision showed conflict. Darkness, but also possibility. A new path, one that had never been walked before. Lisa watched the crystal on the table. Inside it, colors swirled like smoke, red and blue and silver. And what does this have to do with us? Lisa asked, speaking for the first time since entering the house. All eyes turned to her, some widening in surprise as if they had forgotten she could speak. Alara regarded her for a long moment. The vision showed a bridge between peoples. The elders believe that those who stand between worlds, who understand both sides, will be essential in the times to come. They have asked to see you. Both Zara made a sound that Lisa had never heard before, a sharp intake of breath that whistled through her alien vocal cords. The elders rarely grant audiences, she said. They live in seclusion in the highest towers of Kalthar. Yes, Alara agreed. And yet they have asked specifically for you, Zara the Forehand, and your human partner. They believe your unusual bond may have significance. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. The idea that their relationship might have some greater purpose beyond their own personal happiness was both thrilling and terrifying. She had come to Nexus 7 as a botanist to study alien plant life, not to become entangled in alien prophecies. When must we go to them? Zara asked. Tomorrow at first light, Ilara replied. Until then, you will rest here. Her tone made it clear this was not an invitation, but a command. Kren, the youngest of Zara's siblings, spoke for the first time. The human will need food and water of her own kind. We have prepared some. He gestured to a side table where Lisa saw familiar containers from the human settlement. Thank you, Lisa said, surprised by the consideration. Kren inclined his head in acknowledgement, but said nothing more. Ilara stood signaling the end of the conversation. You remember your old chambers, Zara. The human may stay with you. She turned and left the room, Toran and Mila following behind her. Only Kren remained. When the others were gone, Kren moved closer. I have questions about Earth. He said, his voice low, as if he were confessing something shameful. I have been studying your language, your customs, but there is much I do not understand. Zara looked at her younger brother with surprise. You never told me you were interested in humans. Kren made a dismissive gesture with one hand. Not all of us rejected everything about you, sister. He turned to Lisa. May, I ask you about your world later, when the others are asleep. Lisa nodded. Of course, look, that might have been gratitude passed over Kren's alien features. Then he too left the room. Zara let out a long, slow breath. Her posture relaxed for the first time since they had entered the city. That went better than I expected, she said. Better? Lisa asked incredulously. Your mother barely acknowledged me, and your other siblings except Kren acted like I was some kind of exotic pet. Zara made the humming sound that was her version of laughter. No one questioned our soul song. No one suggested it was invalid or demanded. We separate. That is progress. Lisa, more than I dared hope for. Lisa shook her head, still trying to process everything. The crystal, the vision, the elders. What does it all mean? Zara stood, pulling Lisa to her feet with two of her forearms. Come, I'll show you where we will sleep. Tonight is for rest. Tomorrow we can worry about visions and prophecies. She led Lisa through winding corridors deeper into the mountain home. The passages were narrow but tall, accommodating the greater height of the Nexians. Finally, they reached a doorway smaller than the others. Zara pressed her palm to it and it slid open. Inside was a room that clearly belonged to a younger Zara. The walls were covered with images, some that looked like star charts, others that appeared to be scientific diagrams. A narrow bed too small for an adult. Nexian sat against one wall. This is where I grew up. Zara said, her voice soft with memory. Before I understood I was different. Before my fourth arms began to develop. Lisa moved around, the room taking in the details of Zara's childhood. There were objects she didn't recognize with unknown purposes. Books written in the flowing script of the Nexian language. Small sculptures made of the red stone that formed the mountain. Did you make these? Lisa asked, picking up one sculpture that resembled a spiral galaxy. Zara nodded. I always had an interest in creating things. Even as a child, I would spend hours carving the stone. My mother encouraged it. Then she thought I might become an artist. Before you became different, Lisa finished when Zara didn't continue. Yes, Zara agreed. Moving to the bed, she sat down, the frame creaking under her adult weight. We will need to share this. It's small, but it will do for one night. Lisa sat beside her, leaning against Zara's cool silver shoulder. I can't believe we're meeting with your spiritual leaders tomorrow. What will we say to them? Zara wrapped two of her arms around Lisa. The elders do not expect you to say anything specific. They will ask questions and you will answer truthfully. That is all. That night, after a meal that was awkward but not hostile, Lisa and Zara squeezed onto the small bed together. Zara curled her forearms around Lisa, protecting her even in sleep. They had just begun to drift off when a soft sound at the door roused them. Kren stood in the doorway, his three eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. May I ask my questions now? He whispered. Lisa sat up, careful not to disturb Zara too much, though she knew the Nexian was already awake. Come in, she said. For hours, Lisa answered Kren's questions about Earth, about human customs, food, music, art, politics. He was particularly fascinated by the concept of democracy, which was foreign to the hierarchical Nexian society. He asked about human families, about how parents treated children who were different. Why do you want to know all this? Lisa finally asked when his questions showed no sign of slowing. Kren was quiet for a moment. I believe the elders are right, he said. At last change is coming. Whether we embrace it or fight it, it will come. I would rather understand it. Zara, who had been silent during most of the exchange, reached out and touched her brother's arm. This is why I loved you best, she said softly. You always saw further than the others. When Kren finally left, they slept deeply despite the cramped bed and the anxiety about what the next day would bring. Morning came quickly, announced by a soft chime that echoed through the stone corridors. Lisa and Zara rose dressed and found Alara waiting for them in the circular room where they had talked the day before. She wore formal attire, now elaborate robes in deep purple with silver embroidery that matched the markings on her face. It is time, she said. They followed her through the city, climbing higher than Lisa had thought possible. The air grew thinner, the pathways steeper. Ordinary Nexians stopped and stared as they passed, some bowing their heads respectfully to Alara, others watching, with undisguised curiosity. The staircase seemed endless. Each step took them higher into the tower, the air growing thinner with their ascent. Lisa was grateful for her adaptation treatments. Without them, she would have been gasping for breath. Beside her, Zara climbed steadily, her forearms occasionally reaching out to steady Lisa when she stumbled. After what felt like hours, they reached a landing where the staircase ended at a circular door. Made of some dark metal, it was etched with symbols. Lisa couldn't read the door, had no visible handle or control panel. What now? Lisa whispered, her voice echoing slightly in the confined space. Zara studied the door for a moment, then raised all four of her hands and pressed them against four specific symbols on its surface. The symbols began to glow with a soft blue light and the door slid open silently. How did you know which symbols to touch? Lisa asked as they stepped through the doorway. I didn't, Zara replied. Something just guided my hands. They entered a vast circular chamber. Its walls were not the red stone of the mountain, but a transparent material that offered a breathtaking view of the landscape below. The twin suns filled the chamber with golden light. The floor was polished black stone inlaid with silver, patterns that reminded Lisa of star maps or perhaps neural networks. In the center of the chamber, seated on low cushions, were three ancient Nexians. Their skin was so dark blue it was almost black, withered with age. Their three eyes were clouded, but seemed to track Zara and Lisa as they entered. The elders wore no ornate robes, no symbols of office, just simple white garments that contrasted sharply with their dark skin. Come forward, children. One of them said, their voice surprisingly strong. Despite their apparent age, Zara and Lisa approached, stopping a respectful distance from the elders. Zara bowed her head in the Nexian gesture of respect, Lisa following her example. You have journeyed far to reach us, another elder said, though not in distance. Zara looked up. Yes, elder. We came as soon as we received your summons. The third elder, the one who had not yet spoken, raised a gnarled hand. The human does not understand our ways. This one speaks. Lisa was startled to be addressed directly. Yes, elder. I'm Lisa Morgan. I am Zara's partner. The elder finished for her. Yes, we know the song of your souls has joined. We hear its harmony. Lisa wasn't sure how to respond to that. She hadn't expected the elders to be so literal about the soul. Song, the first elder who had spoken, leaned forward slightly. Tell us, Zara the forehand. How did you come to find acceptance among the stars when your own kind rejected? You, Zara was quiet for a moment, gathering her thoughts. I found not just acceptance, elder, but understanding. Lisa saw me not as flawed or blessed, but simply as myself. That was something I had never experienced before. And you, human? The second elder asked, what did you see in this child of Nexus that your own kind could not? Lisa looked at Zara, her silver skin glowing in the sunlight. I saw beauty where others saw strangeness. I saw strength where others saw abnormality. But mostly, I saw Zara, a person with hopes and fears and dreams just like anyone else. The third elder made a sound, like wind through dry leaves. What some might call wisdom, others call blindness. They turned to the other elders. Show them. The first elder raised both hands, and the silver patterns on the floor began to glow brighter. The light rose from the floor, forming shapes in the air. Around them stars appeared, galaxies, nebulae, a map of the universe in miniature. It was beautiful. But Lisa didn't understand its significance. This is our past and present, the first elder said. The universe as it has been, since the dawn of time, order, harmony, balance. The pattern shifted subtly. New connections forming between stars, pathways that hadn't existed before. And this, the elder continued, is what comes. Something approaches. Something that will change everything. Lisa watched as a darkness appeared at the edge of the star map, spreading slowly like ink in water. Where it touched stars, dimmed pathways broke. What is that? Lisa asked, unable to hide her alarm. The second elder spoke. The humans call it different things, dark energy, entropic acceleration. The heat death of the universe. We call it simply the void. It has always existed, always been part of the balance. But now it grows faster than it should, consuming more than it should. The third elder pointed a gnarled finger at Lisa and Zara. Your kind human and Nexian together have accelerated this process with your technologies, your expansion among the stars. You have upset balances older than either of your civilizations. Lisa felt cold despite the warm sunlight streaming through the transparent walls. Are you saying it's our fault? The human settlement? No. Zara interrupted, her voice firm. The elder is not assigning blame. This process has been happening for millennia. Our actions may have hastened it, but we did not cause it. She looked at the elders. Is that not right? The first elder inclined their head. You understand, child? That is good. But what does this have to do with us? Lisa asked. Why show us this? The star map shifted again. The darkness receded slightly. New connections formed between stars, creating a complex web of light. The second elder spoke. Because in our vision we saw a possibility. A new harmony, not of separation, but of integration, not human, not Nexian, but something else, something born of, both yet greater than either. As if responding to the elder's words, the star map shifted again. Focusing now on Nexus 7, zooming in until Lisa could see a representation of the human settlement and the Nexian cities. As she watched, new structures appeared. Between them, bridges, connections, networks. This future, the third elder said, may come to pass if the right hands guide it, hands that understand both worlds. 4 hands, she added, looking directly at Zara. Zara inhaled sharply, all 4 of her arms drawing closer to her body. You believe I am meant to build these bridges because of my deformity. The first elder made a sound that might have been laughter. There is no deformity. Child, only difference. And difference is the catalyst of change. Your 4 arms are not a mistake. They are an adaptation, a sign of what may come, a bridge between what is and what could be. Lisa stepped forward. But what exactly are we supposed to do? How can we possibly affect something as vast as the fate of the universe? The second elder gestured and the star map dissolved, returning to the silver patterns on the floor. We do not know the exact path, only that it begins with understanding between human and Nexian, between past and future, between what is accepted and what is possible. You two stand at the intersection of all these things. The third elder rose slowly, the others following. Return to your people. Both human and Nexian, share what you have learned here. When others see that harmony is possible between such different beings, they will listen. Is that all? Zara asked. There must be more specific guidance. The first elder shook their head. The future is not fixed, child. It shifts with every choice, every action. We can only show you possibilities. You must find the path yourselves. The three elders moved in unison toward a doorway Lisa hadn't noticed before. It was small, nearly hidden in the curved wall. Before passing through it, the second elder turned back. There is one more thing. The darkness grows faster than we anticipated. Time is short, you must act soon. And then they were gone, leaving Lisa and Zara alone in the vast chamber. Lisa turned to Zara, her mind reeling from everything they had seen and heard. Did that just happen? Did a group of alien mystics just tell us we're responsible for saving the universe? Zara was staring at the spot where the star map had been, her 3 eyes distant. Not saving, she corrected absently. Transforming, guiding it toward a new balance. She looked at Lisa. They believe our bond, our soul song, is a template for something larger. Lisa ran her hands through her hair. That is a lot to put on a relationship that started because I thought you were pretty. Zara made her humming laugh. Despite everything the sound brought, a smile to Lisa's face. What do we do now? Lisa asked. Zara was quiet for a moment. We go back, she said finally. We tell others what we saw here. We begin whatever this is supposed to be. She gestured around the chamber. And we hope it is enough. They made their way back down the endless staircase, both lost in their thoughts. By the time they reached the bottom, the twin suns were high in the sky, indicating they had spent hours with the elders. Though it had felt like minutes, Ilara was waiting for them at the base of the tower. Her posture tense with anticipation. What did they show you? She demanded as soon as they appeared. What did they say? Zara looked at her mother. They showed us a future mother. A possibility. They believe Lisa and I have a role to play in guiding both our peoples toward a new understanding. Ilara's 3 eyes narrowed. The void. They showed you? The void, Zara nodded. Yes. How did you know? For 3 generations the elders have spoken of nothing else. Ilara said, their visions grow darker, more urgent. Each time they call for someone to guide us away from destruction, but never before have they called for a human. She looked at Lisa with new interest. I need to return to the settlement, Lisa said suddenly. We need to tell the human leaders what we learned. Some of our scientists have been measuring unusual energy patterns in the region between galaxies. This could be related, Ilara nodded. The elders' wisdom should be shared with all peoples. Now I understand why they called for you both. She hesitated, then did something that shocked Zara. She reached out and placed one hand on Zara's shoulder. I was wrong about your difference, daughter. Perhaps it is not a flaw, but a gift. A sign of what may come. The journey back to the human settlement took 3 days. During that time, Kren bombarded Lisa with questions about Earth, about human customs, governments, technologies, and beliefs. He was particularly fascinated by the concept of democracy, something alien to the hierarchical Nexian society. Zara watched their interactions with a mixture of amusement and concern. Her brother had always been curious, but his fascination with humans went beyond simple interest. There was an intensity to his questions that suggested something deeper as they crossed the golden plains under the light of the twin moons. Zara pulled Lisa aside while Kren slept. My brother, she said quietly. He has never shown this much interest in anything before. I worry about his motivations. Lisa glanced over at Kren's sleeping form curled on the ground. His 3 eyes closed, his breathing deep and even. Do you think he has some ulterior motive? She asked. Zara was silent for a moment. I do not know, she admitted. Finally. But I know that change is difficult, especially for my people. We have existed unchanged for thousands of years while humans are constantly evolving, adapting. Some will resist what we are trying to do. Lisa sighed, leaning against Zara's cool silver shoulder. Do you ever wish we could just go back to the way things were, before the elders and their vision, before all this responsibility? Zara wrapped 2 of her 4 arms around Lisa, pulling her close. Before I met you, I was alone, rejected by my own kind, merely tolerated. By humans, I would not go back to that time for anything. Lisa smiled in the darkness. The elders might be wrong, you know. Alien mystics having cryptic visions. It sounds like something from one of those old science fiction shows. Perhaps Zara agreed. But what if they are right? What if there is something coming, something that threatens both our worlds? Would we not try to stop it? Vision or no vision, Lisa had no answer for that. They reached the human settlement the next day. The familiar prefabricated buildings looked strange to Lisa after the ancient stone architecture of Calthor. Almost temporary, as if they were not meant to last. Samantha Kelly, the settlement's doctor, was the first to greet them. Her eyes widened at the sight of Krenny. "See you. Brought back more than you left with," she said, smiling. "This is my brother," Kren, Zara explained. "He wishes to learn more about humans." "More about humans," Samantha repeated, raising an eyebrow. "Well, he certainly came to the right place. There are about 300 of us here, all kinds too." They made their way to the administrative building where Director Claire Bennett was waiting for them. Claire's office was small and utilitarian, a stark contrast to the grand chambers of Calthor. Director Bennett had been skeptical when Lisa had first told her about her relationship with Zara. Now, as Lisa explained about the elders, their vision, and the mysterious void, the director looked even more doubtful. "Let me get this straight," Bennett said, leaning back. "In her chair, alien mystics showed you a vision of the universe dying and told you that you and Zara are somehow the key to stopping it." "Put that way, it does sound a bit far-fetched," Lisa admitted. Bennett snorted. "A bit. You do realize how this sounds. Morgan, you're a botanist, not a physicist, and forgive me," she added, nodding to Zara. "But religious visions are not exactly scientific evidence." Zara stepped forward, her silver skin catching the light from Bennett's desk lamp. "The elders are not merely religious figures, Director. They are the oldest and wisest of my people. They have guided Nexian civilization for thousands of years. Their visions have predicted natural disasters, technological breakthroughs, and yes, even the arrival of humans on Nexus 7. Bennett frowned, looking from Zara to Lisa and back again. "I can't just reorient our entire mission based on a vision." "What about the anomalies?" Lisa asked. "The energy readings that Dr. Foster has been monitoring. The ones that don't fit any known model." Bennett went still. "How do you know about those? That's classified research." "I worked with Katie Foster in the botany lab." Lisa explained. She mentioned them. Said they were seeing strange readings in the deep space surveys, energy patterns that shouldn't exist. Bennett was quiet for a moment, considering. Then she reached for her tablet, tapping a few commands. A holographic display appeared above her desk, showing a series of graphs and charts. "Dr. Foster has been monitoring these anomalies for 6 months now," she said. "They appear to be growing stronger. The science team doesn't have an explanation yet, but some of them are concerned." She looked up at Zara. "What exactly did these elders say was happening?" Zara moved closer to the display, studying. "The elders called it the void. They said it is growing faster than it should, consuming more than it should. Your scientists might call it dark energy or entropic acceleration." Bennett frowned. "Well, that's disturbingly specific. And they think you, too, can somehow stop it." "Not stop it," Zara corrected. "Transform it. Guide our peoples toward a new balance." Bennett looked skeptical but less dismissive than before. "What exactly are you proposing?" Lisa stepped forward. "We need to share this information with both communities, human and Nexian. The elders believe that our relationship, Zara's and mine, is a template for a new kind of understanding between our species." Bennett sighed, rubbing her temples. "This is above my pay grade. Morgan M., just the director of a research outpost. I'm going to have to consult with Earth." Command Lisa nodded, understanding. "That makes sense. But Director, please emphasize the urgency." The elders said time is short. After the meeting with Bennett, they went to Lisa's small home. At the edge of the settlement, it felt strange to be back in the small prefabricated building. After the grand stone architecture of Calthor, Kren looked around with undisguised curiosity, examining every object, touching everything. "This is where you live?" he asked, his 3 eyes wide. Lisa nodded. "It's not much, but it's home." Kren moved to the window, looking out at the purple forest beyond the settlement perimeter. "So close to the wild," he said. "You are not afraid?" Zara made her humming laugh. The wild, as you call it, is where I met Lisa, where we first began to understand each other. Later, as they ate a simple meal of human and Nexian foods, Kren continued his questions about human relationships, families, communities. Lisa answered as best she could, aware that she was shaping his first impressions of humanity. The next morning, a message came from Director Bennett requesting their presence in the science building. When they arrived, they found Bennett with a small group of the settlement's scientists, including Katie Foster. The physicist Lisa had mentioned, Dr. Foster, a tall woman with dark skin and close-cropped hair, stood next to a large display showing the same anomalies Bennett had shared the day before. "I've been briefed on your experience with the Nexian elders," she said without preamble. "I'm skeptical, but I can't deny that what they described matches our observations." She gestured to the display. "The anomalies were first detected 6 months ago. Energy patterns in deep space that don't match any known phenomenon. They've been growing stronger and faster than our models predicted." One of the other scientists, an astrophysicist named Alan Walsh, added, "We initially thought it was an equipment malfunction, but we've confirmed the readings. With 3 separate systems," Zara studied the display. "That is consistent with what the elders showed us," she said. "The void growing, spreading faster than it should. And what exactly is this void supposed to be?" Foster asked. Zara was quiet for a moment, considering our legends speak of the creation of the universe as a balance between order and chaos, light and dark matter and energy. The void is the dark, the chaos, the entropy. It has always existed, always been part of the balance. But now she gestured to the display. "Something has changed, and you believe this change threatens both our species?" Bennett asked. "Not just our species," Zara replied. "All life everywhere. The elders believe the balance that sustains the universe is failing." The scientists exchanged glances. Some looked skeptical, others concerned. Bennett turned to Lisa. "And the elders think you two can somehow fix this?" Lisa shook her head. "No, not fix. That's not the right word. They believe Zara and I represent a possibility. A new kind of harmony between different beings. They think our relationship is a template for something larger." Foster frowned. "That's rather abstract. For a civilization-ending threat, it's symbolic," Zara explained. "Our union, our soul song shows that different beings can create something new together, something that preserves both, yet becomes more than either." Kren, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. "I have been studying human history," he said. "Since arriving here, human progress accelerated when different cultures met, exchanged ideas, combined their knowledge. Most human innovations came not from isolation but from integration." The scientists looked at the young Nexian in surprise. Bennett sighed heavily. "I still need to consult with Earth Command," she said. "But, in the meantime, I want you all working together." She looked at Foster and Walsh. "Set up a joint research initiative. Bring in Nexian scientists too if they'll cooperate. We need to understand these anomalies." Lisa felt a surge of hope. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Over the next few weeks, the settlement became a hub of activity. Nexian scientists arrived from Calthor and other cities, curious about the strange readings the humans had detected. At Zara's suggestion, they set up a shared laboratory in neutral territory between the human settlement and the nearest Nexian outpost. Lisa watched as humans and Nexians worked side by side, sharing knowledge, techniques, perspectives. At first, there was awkwardness, mistrust, but gradually, walls began to break down. Questions were asked and answered, meals were shared, stories exchanged. The ventilation duct was narrow and dark. Lisa crawled forward, guided only by the faint light filtering through occasional vents. As she moved deeper, she could feel a strange pressure building in her ears, a sense of wrongness that made her skin prickle. Finally, she reached the grate leading into the sealed laboratory. Peering through the slats, she gasped at what she saw. The side lab had been transformed. The spherical void hovered in the center of the room, larger now, perhaps 3 meters. Across equipment had been pulled toward it, creating a ring of debris caught in its gravitational field. and there directly beneath it was Kren. Along with two human scientists, they were operating some kind of device that projected a field of blue, energy around the void containing it barely. Lisa pushed at the grate. It gave way easily, falling to the floor with a clatter. Kren looked up, his three eyes widening. "Lisa, go back," he shouted. "It's not stable." Lisa ignored him, squeezing through the opening and dropping to the floor. The air in the room felt thick, as if reality itself was being compressed. The void pulsed, sending waves of cold through the space. "What happened?" she asked, moving carefully toward Kren, one of the human scientists. A woman, Lisa recognized as Dr. Helen Rivera, answered without taking her eyes off her equipment. "We were running tests combining Nexian quantum theory with our physics models. There was a resonance cascade. The anomaly just appeared, and you're trying to contain it," Lisa said, gesturing to the blue energy field. Kren nodded. "The containment field is holding, but it's draining power faster than we can supply it. If it fails..." He didn't need to finish. Lisa could see the fear in all their faces. "Why didn't you evacuate?" she asked. Rivera nodded toward the door. "The locking mechanism fused when the anomaly appeared. We tried to call for help, but communications are being disrupted by the quantum interference." Lisa looked at the void. It seemed to be growing slowly, but steadily. Each pulse it expanded a few millimeters. "What is it exactly?" The second human scientist, a man Lisa didn't recognize, looked up from his equipment. "It's like nothing we've ever seen, a tear in the fabric of space-time itself, as if reality is unraveling." At the quantum level, Lisa thought of what the elders had shown them. The void growing, consuming. Too fast, too soon. The ancient Nexians had seen this coming, had tried to warn them. And now it was here in this laboratory, threatening not just them, but potentially all of reality. "We need more power for the containment field," Kren said. His voice strained. "The backup generators won't last much longer." Lisa looked around the laboratory, searching for anything that might help. Her eyes fell on an experimental power core in the corner, one of the Nexian scientists had brought from Calthor. It was based on crystalline technology, drawing energy from the quantum field itself. "Would that work?" she asked. Pointing to it, Kren followed her gaze. "The Nexian quantum core," he said thoughtfully. "It might. But we'd need to modify the interface to connect with our equipment, and the calibration would be..." A sudden alarm blared from Rivera's console. "The containment field is failing," she shouted, as if in response. The void pulsed violently, expanding almost a meter in all directions. The blue energy field flickered, growing visibly weaker. Equipment not already caught in the voids. Gravitational pull slid across the floor, drawn toward it. The scientists struggled to maintain their positions. Lisa felt a cold certainty settle over her. If they couldn't stabilize the field, the void would continue to grow. Would it consume just this room, the building, the planet? Or would it spread unchecked throughout the galaxy, the universe? Perhaps this was what the elders had foreseen. The end of everything, as she watched the void pulse again. This time, accompanied by a deep, subsonic rumble that she felt in her bones, more than heard. The containment field weakened further, objects from around the lab flying into the darkness, disappearing without a trace. Then she heard it. A scraping sound from the ventilation duct. She turned to see Zara emerging, her silver skin gleaming in the blue light of the failing containment field. "I told you to stay back," Lisa shouted. Zara's three eyes took in the situation in an instant. "I couldn't leave you," she said, moving quickly to Lisa's side. The void pulsed again, more violently. The containment field flickered, almost failing completely. The human scientists were thrown to the floor. Kren barely maintaining his position at the control console. "Zara, it's not stable," Lisa warned. "The containment field is failing. I can see that," Zara replied. Already she was moving, examining the equipment, with all four of her arms working simultaneously. Kren looked up from his console, his expression bleak. "The power coupling is failing," he said. "We're losing the field." Without hesitation, Zara moved to the Nexian quantum core. Quickly, she began disconnecting it from its housing. Her forearms working in perfect coordination. I can modify this, she said. But I'll need help. Lisa joined her following Zara's instructions as they reconfigured the alien power source. Each of Zara's 4 hands performed a different task, adjusting, connecting, calibrating, while Lisa helped as best she could. The void pulsed again. The containment field flickered, almost going down completely. Rivera and the other human scientist were now pressed against the wall, fighting the growing gravitational pull. Almost there. Zara muttered, her hands moving with incredible speed. Now Kren, connect the main power coupling to the modified interface. Kren reached for the cable. But as he did, the void pulsed again. Its gravitational pull increased dramatically. The Nexian lost his footing, sliding toward the darkness. Lisa lunged forward, grabbing his arm. She felt herself being pulled toward the void, her feet sliding on the smooth floor. Then Zara's arms were around her. 2 holding her, 2 holding. Kren anchoring them both. The 3 of them hung there, suspended between safety and oblivion. The void pulsed again, growing stronger, its pull increasing. With each moment it became harder for Zara to hold them. Go back, Lisa told her. Save yourself. Zara made a sound that might have been a laugh. I will not let you go. Either of you. Kren looked at his sister, then at Lisa. Their eyes met, and Lisa saw something there. Understanding, acceptance, and determination. With a sudden movement, Kren reached out, grabbing the power cable that had fallen just beyond his reach. He connected it to the modified interface even as the void pulled at him. The laboratory filled with a brilliant blue-white light. The containment field stabilized, suddenly strengthening. The void's gravitational pull lessened, allowing Zara to pull both Lisa and Kren back to safety. The 3 of them collapsed on the floor, breathing hard, watching as the containment field solidified around the void. Its pulsing slowed, then stopped. The darkness within seemed to shrink slightly. It worked. Kren gasped. The quantum core is powering the containment field. River pulled herself to her feet, checking her equipment. The field is stable, she confirmed. But this is just a temporary solution. The void is still there, still active. The containment field is just holding it in check. The other scientist joined her. It's not just containing it, he said. Look on his monitor. A graph showed energy readings from the void. They were fluctuating, but gradually decreasing. It's shrinking, Rivera said in disbelief. Very slowly, but it's definitely shrinking. Lisa looked at Zara. The quantum core, she said. It's not just containing the void. It's healing it. Somehow, Zara nodded thoughtfully. The Nexian quantum technology works differently than human technology. It doesn't just generate energy. It harmonizes with the quantum field itself. The door to the laboratory suddenly slid open. Katie Foster stood there with a team of scientists, both human and Nexian. They stared at the contained void, at the jury-rigged equipment, and at Lisa, Zara, and Kren on the floor. What happened? Foster demanded. Hours later, they sat in the conference room of the administrative building, explaining what had happened. Lisa, Zara, and Kren, along with the 2 human scientists, had been examined by medical staff and cleared. Director Bennett sat at the head of the table, her expression grave as she listened to their report. So you're telling me, Foster said when they had finished, that this void, this tear in reality was exactly what the Nexian elders warned you about? Lisa nodded. It matches their description exactly. And the fact that the Nexian quantum technology was able to not just contain it but begin to heal it. That can't be a coincidence. Bennett leaned forward. So where do we go from here? The containment field is holding, but as you said, it's a temporary solution. Kren, who had been quiet for most of the meeting, spoke up. The quantum technology could be refined, expanded, he said. If we combined Nexian quantum harmonics with human engineering, we might be able to create a more permanent solution. And not just for this void, Foster added. For all of them. The anomalies we're detecting throughout space. Zara nodded, thoughtfully. The elders spoke of a new harmony, not human, not Nexian, but something born of both yet greater than either. This could be what they meant. A joining of technologies of understanding. Lisa looked around the table at the faces of humans and Nexians alike, all focused on the same problem, working together despite their differences. Just as the elders had foreseen, in the days that followed, the joint research initiative expanded. Scientists from Earth were called in. More Nexians arrived, including some of their most respected researchers. The laboratory where the void had appeared became the center of a new kind of collaboration. Lisa and Zara found themselves at the heart of it. Their unique perspective, their understanding of both cultures made them natural bridges between the two groups, and Kren, with his quick mind and openness to new ideas, became invaluable in translating complex concepts between human and Nexian science.